But first, a war of words has broken out between the convener of the Climate 200 group, the man financing these voices of election candidates, Simon Holmes, and Victorian Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson. Now, Holmes is being accused of using sexist remarks to describe the senator after she appeared on Sky News last week. Now, the interview with Senator Henderson was on my own program last Thursday. It was in reference to the support given by Holmes to climate activist Michael Steindl. Steindl was the man who took the Treasurer to the federal court, alleging he was a Hungarian citizen and should be expelled from Parliament under Section 44. Steindl lost that case by a unanimous verdict after it became clear that Josh Frydenberg and his family arrived here in 1950 as stateless refugees from the Holocaust. It was a low and hurtful case, which left Steindl having to apologise and pay the Treasurer's legal fees, which total $410,000, an amount Steindl now claims he cannot pay. In fact, last week he told The Age he wanted the federal government to pay those fees, But it was Simon Holmes who, during the case, attended some of those hearings himself and told the media he was offering Steindl his moral support. He also promoted the case on social media. So on Thursday, Senator Henderson told me on the show that maybe Holmes might consider paying that money.
Look, I think it was an offensive court action, and obviously the court found in Josh Frydenberg's favour. And it's also clear that Mr Steindl will have understood the risks of losing such a significant case. And I'm sure Mr Holmes would have also understood the significant cost penalty that would flow if Mr Steindl, in fact, did lose that court case, which of course he did. So, as I say, Chris, Mr Holmes has raised an awful lot of money. He has now gone missing in action. He has said that he was giving Mr Steindl moral support. He did go along to the court case. He was, in my view, looked like he was driving this. And I think that he should be standing up now and paying for these court costs.
Well, that was enough to upset Simon Holmes Over the weekend, he hit social media and posted that entire interview and wrote, "Predictably, Liberal Australia henchmen sending their Crumb Maidens after me." Crumb Maidens. Does that sound a tad sexist? Well, the Urban Dictionary says a Crumb Maiden is a person, male or female, who works to maintain power structures, typically gendered power structures, which hurt them and or their community in the hope that they can gather some small residual benefit. Senator Henderson thinks the term aimed at her is plainly misogynistic. She wrote to Simon Holmes yesterday, and all female candidates contesting the federal election backed by Climate 200, writing, "Mr Holmes has a history of making offensive and disrespectful comments towards Senator Hume, including accusing her of bitchiness and not having a soul. In light of Mr Holmes latest offensive and sexist comment, which constitutes a misogynistic attack on me, I write to ascertain whether you will condemn Mr Holmes for his conduct towards me." Now, I know for a fact Sarah Henderson is not impressed. On the Climate 200 website too, it states that community groups have been formed by Climate 200 to support pro-climate, pro-integrity and pro-gender equality independence. I doubt whether any of those female candidates would want anyone, let alone their own convener, to accuse them of being Crumb Maidens. Senator Henderson has asked Holmes for an unconditional apology, and yet that apology has not been forthcoming. The coalition is obviously determined to put the utmost pressure on this group of so-called independent candidates, many of whom were former members of the Labor Party, we've since learned. Today, another of their candidates running in the seat of Curtin, Kate Chaney, has disclosed that she joined the Labor Party last year. The niece of former Liberal Senator Fred Chaney said she only stayed on as a member for 5 months, but it wasn't for her. A very strange explanation from another member of a very strange collection of independents whose sole aim, it appears, is to bring down the Morrison government.